Guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Es freut mich sehr, Sie hier begrüßen zu dürfen. Ich präsentiere 50 plus Döner.
Yeah, there is no B form today. So B form's off being young and hot and free. And us olds are talking about Bundesliga architecture. We are joined by the world famous Archijake, everyone's favorite architecture slash transit nerd. Archijake, how are you?
Uh, Wonderful. Thanks for that intro. That's like the most accurate description of me.
Yeah, we're gonna really be hitting all of your favorite things. We're just missing beer. But we
Are we? Are
are
we?
we? We're not?
I
Are
like literally in the center of this collage, there is a reference to a place where you can drink beer. So
All right, never
yeah,
mind. We're hitting all four of your favorite things.
everything.
Soccer, transit, architecture, and beer. Oh my God. Why don't you intro yourself before we jump off into this? What do you do? What are your ties?
I am an architect, as the handle describes, and as Jake said, I am a senior architect at Metro, which is the commuter rail system in Chicago. I work in
Yes,
station
sir.
parking,
Yes, sir. Yes,
which
sir.
is
Yes,
exactly what it
sir.
sounds like.
Yes,
We
sir.
coordinate the renovation, the improvements to train stations across the region. Um, and that's one of those things that I got to by being passionate about the things that I care about and just continuing to do stuff, not because it was going to pay off, but because I enjoyed it. And then somebody was like, hey, do you want to do this and get paid for it? And then uh, one thing led to another. So I encourage everybody, just do those things outside of your current day job that give you joy and pursue your interests, because man, it can overlap and it's wonderful. So I know Jake, through us having the same name, us both being
Jake
half
Peas.
German.
Jake
German.
Peas even.
No, Jake P's, exactly. We can't even do initials. And us both being FC Cologne fans, but we are going to be unbiased in these stadium rankings
Yes.
today. So
Thank you for putting that out there. I have not seen this yet. I saw Jake Peters put a comment on this at 5 in the morning, so this is going to be some real high level stuff. Are you ready to jump in?
absolutely ready to
All
go.
right, slide number one. That didn't do what I wanted to.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, off you go, Peters.
So yeah, the criteria is very scientific, in that we're trying to think about stadiums not just in terms of vibes, like Stadium DB, if anybody's familiar with that, also known as worldstadiums.com, uh, did a Bundesliga stadium rankings for this coming year, and it's basically just from a uh, fan experience and vibes standpoint. And what I'm trying to get at here is more of the components that make up a good experience and quantify them. So I say very scientific tongue in cheek, but I am trying to really think about uh, each of these aspects and what makes uh, a good stadium, a good fan experience from the granular level of each of the components. So
Um, Also, the Andy boy, thank you for the sub for 12 months. Let's go. And then Slovenista said, one of my fondest memories of my 20s was riding the Metro and college kids tossing us beers. Were you going to Lollapalooza? That was
that
a
was a
very.
topic of one of my meetings today. Yeah. So the architecture criteria is broken down into three categories. One is roof slash structure. That's because with stadiums, structure and roof tend to be intertwined in good stadiums. In bad stadiums, you can have a roof that is completely untethered from the general structure of your stadium, and it leads to not having full coverage, to not having a roof that fully extends to the edge of the touch line. So when we're talking about roof and structure, we're talking about that functional aspect of how does it cover the seating bowl, sort of the aesthetic side of it, because the way that you progress into a stadium can be defined by the grandiose architecture. I mean, the Ruhrstadion here is a great example of that. It is instantly recognizable, and you have to come up through that structure to get into the seating bowl, and it defines your experience of the stadium. And the last part of that is aspects of the roof. Like there can be solar panels on a roof, there can be lights that are integrated into the roof. Those kinds of criteria will get you closer to 10. So that is roof structure. Seating bowl is a lot more like A plus B equals C. If you have a full single level bowl all the way around, those are some solid points. If you have 2 levels, solid all the way around, no gaps in the corners, you go up even higher. If you have standing sections in more than just the stereotypical location that allows for that superior fan experience, then you're going to get to a higher seating bowl ranking. Now, that gets balanced out by if you have absolutely 0 comfortable seats for people who are bougie as fuck, you're going to lose some points there. So you can get to 10, but lots of different bowls can get to 10 for different reasons. There's no one way to skin the cat. I'm sorry, my cat did not overhear that. There's more than one way to get points here. Exterior cladding, Allianz Arena is on here because it's like automatic 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gorgeous.
We're talking about how the outside of a stadium is able to convey the identity of a club. The way that they do that alternating Bayern, like Bavarian theme on the using that pattern that's coming out of the bubbles, it's iconic.
I literally just noticed that. That's the same pattern in the flag.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It like subtlety here that people don't like immediately think of, but it's subconscious. It tells you, you recognize it immediately. Exterior cladding is also going to tie in a bit with roof structure. If you have less exterior cladding because your roof structure is amazing and it fully comes down and envelops the stadium, you can get up to 10 even though you have a breeze through where there's nothing there. So exterior cladding, it specifically says exterior / cladding because it doesn't need to have cladding. But if you just slap up some 2x4s Armenia Bielefeld, I don't know how to pronounce Bielefeld, you're going to have low rankings. And they're no longer in the Bundesliga, but our first time around, they were bottom of the barrel on cladding.
Yeah.
My good, it was a shed. So, yeah, those are the architectural criteria. And then we move into what I call stadium area criteria.
I'm going to reach out real quick. The Bundesliga. Lammy. Hello, Lammy. The Bundesliga has some very cool stadium roofs. That is so true. And I think they have great exterior cladding as well.
Yes.
Stuttgart going to get a +12 for the roof, calling his shot already. And then Carbine Cat, who was so excited for this. Sumo 1 Fuzzy. I don't know what that means, but let's go. All right. So, I can't even stay neutral when talking about stadiums. LOL.
Yeah, you will see in the rankings that I remained neutral. Like I love Rhein-Energiestadion, but I know where its weaknesses are. So in stadium area criteria, one of them is 10 points for amenities. If you've located your bike parking in a field directly next to where you can get beer, cider, and refreshments pre-game, you're scoring high because that's an amenity that is tied in together. That's something that encourages people to socialize with one another, encourages people to get to the stadium in a way that does not create hostility and driver's rage. It's just so much more enjoyable to get to a stadium when you do not have to be the person who's driving. Tailgating's great, but you cannot tell me that tailgating has ever been better because you were the person who operated the vehicle there. Like, tailgating is so great when you're the passenger.
Also, it's worth noting that I would imagine every team, your ticket counts as a transportation ticket. That's worth
Oh,
mentioning too.
that should be standard
If
around the world.
I'm surprised the Fire don't get that CTA partnership or Metro. Why aren't you doing that? Huh?
That is not my department. All that I'll say is I think there will be opportunities, and people just need to have conversations if they want to make stuff
I'm down for dying on that hill.
happen.
A next one or
the next one is probably
okay.
Yeah, the next criteria, urbanism, is sort of a catch-all to refer to how the stadium fits into its surroundings and how active those surroundings are for supporting a good game day experience. I actually sort of workshopped this topic with talking to some people a few months ago, and they pointed out that you have to account for the Wrigley Field effect, where you can have really great physical urban design and have all the components, but if your game day operations and the way that everything has been done sanitizes it to a point where you don't have naturally occurring grassroots things, you're going to lose points. You can't get to a 10 there. And that is something that I would say the Bundesliga stadiums in general are actually lacking compared to some of their counterparts. Some of the other European leagues have much more vibrant and elastic, I want to say. Like, things are changing every year around the stadium. New stuff is popping up. It's a little bit more static in the Bundesliga, and I'd love to see that evolve. And I'll talk about those specific stadiums where I think there are opportunities. And the last one is transportation. It's just my nature that I can't think about something with up to 80,000 people arriving and not think about how does that occur. And public transportation, mass transportation, is a critical necessity for stadiums, because geometry, you cannot have the level of throughput if everybody is also taking 2 tons of steel and a 10-foot clearance in every direction with them to go and see their stadium. It means that you can't fit any of the other things that you want around the stadium. So that one's pretty straightforward in terms of, you have a single bus, you're getting a 1. You have more buses, you can get a 2. If you have more buses and great bike parking, you're getting into 3. At a 10, you have buses, trams, intercity rail, the S-Bahn. Like, you have everything in close proximity, and it's easy to do. So you'll get a hint at what stadium is going to rank really high on that based on the photo I chose. But
is there any place that gets a 1?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A place that gets a 1 that I previously had given a 0, and they did do an improvement recently. Yeah. So you add up that architectural score, you add up the stadium area score, you get the overall score. And this is pretty straightforward. Next slide is talking about our comings and goings. So there were previous stadiums in the Bundesliga. They're now in the Zweitliga. Is one of these still is in the 3rd division now? That's
First might. Yeah. No, First I think survived.
They survived. Okay, I was not. Did Bielefeld survive?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That those are two stadiums that did not rank super high, but didn't rank as low as you'd think because they did sneaky good things that you wouldn't get from just looking at it. And you need to dig a little bit deeper and find out, what's happening inside of the building. Because sometimes amenities in the stadium area are actually integrated into the physical stadium, where it's like, oh no, this is a cafe that is open all year round, but on game days is an amenity. And that is a really helpful thing at integrating in with the stadium area. So here's a little summary for people who want to know what giants of the stadium rankings we have lost.
Jeez, we did this 4 years ago? My
4 years
God.
ago, man. We need to do this every year and not just when there's a World Cup.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. What the hell?
And we did do it last time when there was a World Cup because we did it in the winter instead of in the summer.
Jesus.
So Olympia Stadion, like, what an iconic ground in terms of checking every box. We talked about the reasons that its architecture doesn't get a 1 comes from the influences of the pieces of shit that originally ideated it. But there are so many good things that have been done to that stadium over the years. Volkswagen Arena as well, a great little stadium. Stadium area is not as great, but it's a good guy. And then, as we mentioned, Ruhrstadion just beat it out of the park with structure. Yeah, we have new stadiums coming. Ursa Farm Arena an der Kaiserlinde. Did I butcher
Yeah,
that?
you did. Yeah, you did you did that well.
Considering how much German heritage I have, horrible pronunciation. Wohnen Westerstadion, which just, like, spoiler alert, my favorite stadium. Like, I'm not
And
a
then
fan.
we have Home Deluxe Arena. What the heck?
My goodness, better than it was. Like, if you want to look back to how that stadium was when it was first built, bare bones, it has an absolute duplicate in Poland. That is how efficient it was. Somebody just went, oh, can we just do that exact same thing? And they plopped it down in another country. Veltins Arena, it has huge pros. It also has some cons in terms of how dated it is, but man, it's an iconic ground, and I'm glad that it's in the Bundesliga. Same for Volksparkstadion. I'll get into my criticisms of it, but it was really fun to go through all 5 of these. There were things that I never knew that, yeah, you dig in over a month and you really get into the weeds on these guys and you start going, that's way cooler than I originally thought. And it fleshed out some criteria that I think I needed to refine.
The Andy Boy says Foxborough, Massachusetts gets a -2, and I hope there's nothing that gets a -2. I think by default, the
No
only one I
negative.
can think of is Elbersburg, but
Yeah, and Elversberg, we'll get to it. If there are any Elversberg fans, it's rough for me to have to judge something that currently has 1/4 not in existence because they're constructing the new side of the stadium. But yeah, that is one that I think will climb up the rankings as they wrap things up. But it also it's a town of 13,000.
yeah. All right, ready?
Yeah. So we're getting the bias out early.
Hey, it starts with a 1.
Yeah, starting off with Erste FC Köln because it's the first. I didn't actually do it alphabetically, but roof structure, this is an 8. That is a phenomenal bit of engineering. It is beautiful. It is iconic. It serves so many purposes. It sets the tone. When you come in through those corners, like, it tells you all about the mindset of Cologne, of how this club is hardworking, but also just like a sieve, open at the corners. Going to just absolutely blow it right when I have my hopes up. Exterior cladding is a 5. It's one of those situations where it doesn't really have cladding. Why is this higher than a 1? It's because they were really thoughtful about where they put the infilling elements in order to complement the overall rhythm of the structure, to make it so that it is a cohesive whole that allows the structure to really sing. It's a nice little bit of modernism that that feels a bit like it's an erector set, but in a good way. And then seating bowl, you'll see it has a phenomenal supporters section. It only loses points because of the corners. But that's one of those trade-offs where the roof structure would not be 8 here if it did not have those structural elements really anchoring the corners. So that's our wonderful stadium. In terms of amenities, 6 on amenities. There are some great areas to hang around pre-stadium to meet up with people when they're getting off of the tram, and you might have gotten on an earlier one or walked from a friend's house nearby. The park setting is one of those amenities. It's one of the, you'll see this throughout the rankings, that if your urbanism is not able to get super high because you're in a park, you likely have higher amenities because you're co-located with a swimming pool, or you're co-located with a beer garden, or restaurants that are on the river, like things that aren't actually city, but are a great amenity when you're talking about something that has an overwhelming number of people on a very few select set of days a year.
You better have counted the McDonald's across the street, by the way. That better have factored into this.
There's a pro and a con there from an urbanism standpoint.
Recount. I need a recount.
I'm sure that next May, when we go there for Joiner's bachelor party, I will be adjusting these rankings, and I will be biased, but I have not been there yet, which is just like, I've been to Cologne so many times, but never during the season.
I lived there and I didn't even go until.
Oh, you lost audio.
I keep turning this off. I lived there and I didn't even go until 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So transportation, it's a 5. It's partly because it's a bit of a walk from the tram, and because of that, not super wonderful from an accessibility standpoint. If you're arriving on a wheelchair, yes, you can, but that's a little bit of an annoying role. And having to go around the parking garage that is between you and it raises my hackles. Like, they did a good job of making that garage instead of eating up so much park space, but it doesn't seem to be super enjoyable. Nobody shows their videos of going to a match walking past that part. That no one considers that part of the traditions. So that leads to an architectural score of 21 and a stadium score of 17 and an overall score of 38. And you'll see how absolutely just middle of the road Cologne is. It is tied for 8th, tied for 6th, tied for 8th. That's middle of the table, bouncing up and down between the Zweitliga and Bundesliga.
Right, I'm going to have to kick you off in a second.
You'll recognize that I am a classic Chicago sports fan. I hate my teams. I love my team. I hate my team. I love my team. Union Berlin, Stadion an der Alten Försterei.
Yeah.
Försterei. There you go. I really like this stadium. It is the only seating bowl that I gave a 10 I might have given one other 10. I can't remember exactly.
Also, timeout. Wikipedia. Once I get back to Discord, you're banned, buddy. You're banned.
I'm assuming I missed something in the chat.
Yeah, we'll discuss later, Wikipedia.
So the 10 for the seating bowl I alluded to earlier. It's that safe standing all the way around three sides while still having a really comfortable and intimate fourth stand. If they found a way of doing that and closing the corners, I'd have to consider giving them an 11 and then having to immediately put the GIF from Spinal Tap in here, because it would be the only stadium that goes to 11. Exterior cladding is a 7. It's a bit blah, but not in a bad way, in a way that reflects the surrounding area. It's just a bit hodgepodge, and it can't get a ton of exterior compliments when a huge part of the side isn't a beautiful structure, but also isn't cladding. So that roof and structure ends up at a 6 here, because I really do like the way that it comes in these sort of buttresses out from the perimeter and then extends into that roof structure that hangs out. And they're using two very interesting roof structures here, but it's really just kit of parts rather than being something that is iconic. And it does have some gaps where you can get wet on a rainy day in Berlin. And I know that even the most ardent Union supporters will know what I mean from videos that I've seen of being at the back of the stands there.
Wikipedia does say the wooden scoreboard has to count for something, and I do have to agree with that.
That will be in our amenities, because it's
What? It was a 5.
On amenities.
Yeah, for Union Berlin.
Yeah. It's that parking lot, man. It's that parking lot in the way that it separates you from the things that make the area so vibrant. Like there are amenities in terms of like places to go before and after that would be benefited simply by having a bit more of a better promenade connection, which is really the only weakness there, but it's a big weakness in my opinion. But it's pretty classic. That's why it gets 5. It's not bad amenities. It's not great amenities. It's good. Urbanism, same. It's good. It just has a parking lot that really is poorly placed and shows how many points Cone would have lost if they didn't have that garage. So it's all interrelated. That's the difference between 6th and 9th, guys, when it comes to stadium area score. They have the same thing with transportation. It's great transportation. It's just a bit of a walk, and there are portions of it that aren't as great as we'll see at other stadiums. So that gets tied for 4th on architecture. I really like this stadium. Stadium area score of 9th, but easily could get up into the top 5 with just a few tweaks that I'd expect them to do if they engage in any of the stadium expansion discussions that I've heard bandied around for Union. So overall, that gets tied for 8th with Cone. They're both stadiums that should be on a bucket list of any Bundesliga fan who spends time in Germany.
We have Slovenisa saying that the color of the outside is an eyesore. I do agree, but I guess it fits in with their colors.
Yes.
Lammy says stadium to definitely visit. I agree. And then Wikipedia, does the U-Bahn go that far? S-Bahn only?
S-Bahn only. This is why there's a photo of buses and not of trains. Buses and trams. It's that this sort of pickup drop-off point for the tram is much more critical for connecting here, which is why it doesn't get up into that 7, 8, 9 situation from a transportation aspect.
I am going to shepherd you a little bit because I do want to get to every single stadium.
Yes. Yeah.
But I love it.
Mine,
I love it. This is so interesting.
it's also when we're at the beginning ones, it's really you're showing examples so that we'll go through the other ones faster. Exterior cladding at the Mainz Arena is great. They did such a good job of putting lipstick on this absolute pig of a location. I'm sorry, but
It is in the middle of nowhere.
it has improved in its rankings since last time in urbanism. It had a 0. It now has a 1. They expanded the campus nearby for the university, and that's brought it a little bit closer. And it really could pull up those rankings. What did I write here? I said it's American level troll to have the bike racks in an overgrown field on the far side of a stadium, only served by roads. It's gorgeous. They finally built a couple buildings nearby.
I'm just going to switch it to the other side just so people can see.
Oh yeah.
Oh my! It really is in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. It's better than big box stores. So watch this space, as in the literal fields. If they build something on those fields, watch this space. But back to roof and structure. It's a bit of a ho-hum structure, but they have the wonderful integration of the solar panels and the way that that exterior cladding sort of anchors these corners. So again, the seating bowl gets an 8, but I don't think I'd be giving the exterior an 8 if not for these corners. It's a great progression into a stadium. I can imagine walking through that gate and into that when it's rocking is just one of those like chills down the back of your spine. I'm ready for the game moments. So a great stadium, but not on the bucket list for visiting because of that. Like,
oh, that's really bad. Like, what is it? Are those hotels like right next to it?
So that empty little plot there, I couldn't find a newer aerial view, but that's where they built the new stadium campus, is on that sort of parking lot. Not stadium campus, university campus. It's where that parking lot is off in the distance. The light rail wraps around that development and then veers away from the stadium. Like it goes on through the stadium, it veers away. So that's why it gets to be a 3. You can see from this photo that little red box in the bottom left corner of the transportation one.
Oh,
that's the stadium.
Jesus Christ.
Like that walk is so much worse than what we were saying about Cologne or Berlin. So with that, the amenities I mentioned, they get dragged for that stupid bike parking like option. Like you're Germany, you should be good at doing that. But they do get some for amenities because they do have a bike parking field, even though it's an overgrown field. They do have a nice little restaurant, but who in God's name is going there on a non-game day? Because you have to walk across like the fields of yore to get there. So tied for 4th in architecture score, 16th on stadium area score, which is pretty low, but you'll see who it gets beat by. And an overall score of 30, which is tied for 13th. So here is Home Deluxe Arena. Guys, this dude had a glow up. So if you look at old photos of the stadium, they added a sort of little second level that wraps around the edge and has this sort of banding of video boards. Before, there was just like a 30-foot blank wall around the edge that looked like, if anybody's been to, I'm going to call it Jacobs Field, and still Jacobs Field to me in Cleveland, where they have those like party decks that just have ads on the side of them, and it's clearly an afterthought. that's what it had. And when they made this change, they also added this under roof lighting that they didn't have. That
Yeah.
really gives a like great branding. It turns the entire thing from a butterface to a beautiful stadium.
Butterface for a stadium is crazy. That is an insane way to describe a stadium. Yeah, Micah P is saying the interior roof looks cool, and it is. I remember when they were renovating this, and this was in the plans. I was like, "Oh, I bet that'll look cool."
Yes, and that they also did the same with their exterior cladding. They added these wonderful egress stairs that they didn't have previously that sort of anchor the corners and give it some character that it didn't have before. The one place where it did have character originally is in this roof structure. It does a great job of expressing it, having that be the exterior. It's the reason that the exterior cladding still gets a 3, despite it having this corrugated bullshit that's here that is very Bielefeldish. And like they lost some points for that. If this had been open and treated a bit more like Cone, it might have gone higher. And I challenge a architect who does the next blow up of Home Deluxe Arena to do that and do something there. I think that this could also solve some of their amenity issues, which we'll see on the next slide. There are some things that can be done around the stadium to make it a little bit better. Amenities.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, another middle of nowhere boy.
Andy boy, this is probably where those points about the name came. They think they lost all those points here.
Yeah. Amenities is a 2 because I'm being generous that having a weird ass sculpture that looks like it was temporary and then you decided to make it permanent. It's a great place to meet people. Like they clearly added that because what were you going to do? Meet me on the flummy grass field on one side or the CMU block wall on the other side? Like it is the last place stadium in stadium area score. It got a 1 for transportation because they do have a like bus shuttle pickup thing, but it's literally a bus shuttle that only runs on game days. And like, look up the branding on it. It's the most like, I'm sorry to, it's the most Fresno transportation system like mindset you could have, where it's like,
not Fresno.
Yeah, your bus does what it's supposed to. It gets you out to the places where you want to go hiking. But if you're using that on a regular basis as just like a person who needs to get to their job in Fresno, good luck. And yeah, I feel for the people who live in these smattering of homes that are in the fields around this. And just out of view is like a big box homewares store. Like it loses, it has a 0 because it lost points that were on the table.
I'm going to read chat real quick. We have how much fundraising do we need, Peters, to do a Stadiums of North America presentation? Damn, right? You're already getting contracted.
Yeah. If somebody has an MLS podcast and they want to do it, I'm in. If you have a USL podcast, I am even more in because I don't know those stadiums as well as I know the MLS stadiums. And that was the correct use of the MLS because I was referring to the stadiums and not to the motherfucking league.
All right. Well, I don't think you're going to get murdered on this show. And then, they have a bunch of, I know 3 dudes like that statue. That's crazy. And, they have a ton of bike parking out front.
Yeah, I mean, we will see why places get a lot more points as we get along because let's be real, if these were NFL stadiums, there are a hell of a lot of them that would be getting 0s and I'd consider negative points. By Arena, a great stadium, and that pains me to say, but that roof structure is fucking boss.
Yeah,
Like
it is a
every
cool looking stadium.
oh, like the only reason that it doesn't get a 10 is that I have a feeling that those first games of the year um, can be a bit balls hot underneath this greenhouse. But I need people who have the poor taste to be uh, uh, corporate shill fans to let me know about that. But yeah, I'll continue shooting those shots. They did a great job with what is around the stadium. We'll get that into that with amenities, but you can see how there are these little bits that pop out. It's the reason that the exterior gets a 3 rather than being a 0, because
Yeah.
they did phone it in on, like, they improved all these other aspects of the stadium, but it's like they just plopped that roof on top and we're like, done. That's all we needed to do. And the seating bowl only is an 8 because of that weird, like, end zone of college stadium thing going on. But I still really like this stadium. Like, I begrudgingly love this stadium.
We got Andy Boy. Who built their roof first, Leverkusen or Stuttgart?
Well, you'll have to go to a history major for that one.
The Bay Arena is gorgeous. Peters, because fucking that's why. And then Lammy with some absolute banter. Grace Amenity's proximity to Colin. Speaking of amenity, I can't wait to see the score. I think I know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
How the hell is it a 4?
It's a 4 because of the bits and bobs that poke out of the edge of the stadium. It's not just a blank fucking wall. Like, the variability of the area around your stadium can get you points when you just put a bike parking. Like, they put the things in the right locations. They didn't put a lot of things, but they put them in the right location. They didn't go, oh, hey, our bike parking is going to be on the opposite side of the stadium from our bike path. They put it right where you need to be so that you don't have to deal with the highway that's next to it, which is why, from an urbanism standpoint, it gets a 3. Like,
yeah, this looks crazy.
This is an amazing stadium. Here, how did I describe this in my fancy roof and structure, otherwise fugly.
Butterface and fugly for stadiums is nuts. This is the only place where you're going to hear Bundesliga stadiums called that.
Yeah, this is the only place where you're going to hear millennial high school insults for stadiums. So yeah. So we can. I mean, transportation's a 4 just because it is right effing there. There's just not anything that is as good as what is provided at the better stadiums in this region. Yeah. So that leads to 12th in architecture, 13th in stadium area, an overall score of 12th. So this is unbiased. Like, I love that roof so much that no, this is the unbiased result. It would have been lower if I had paper on the scale.
Yeah, this is the one I'm interested in the most.
Yeah. So Signal Iduna Park is a great roof and structure. It's iconic. It's just poorly executed. Like, I know that it's iconic, but if you look at this, the way that roof structure is coming out of the roof is like
uneven.
The kind of face that only an engineer could love. Like, it is just poor decision making, but it gets the job done. It's good. It's better than it was before they made some of the recent improvements to the roof with the solar. Exterior cladding, it's a 4. It's an example of where you could be higher by less is more. You could have done things to emphasize that roof structure, and it probably would have made the roof structure stronger and your exterior cladding stronger. But seating bowl, that's a 9.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
it's a 9. Like the only way that it could be a 10 is if there was. I think there's a ceiling on standard, like almost NFL style stadium surrounds. Is like you can't get a 10 because it's it's great boring. It's something that is made as a cauldron to fill with the fervor of the fans, and that's the reason the stadium is so iconic. It's because the bowl allows the fans to define it.
Ooh, we got an interesting question. What is the purpose of the big ass yellow things on the roof?
Those are the structure that is holding up the trusses. So these corner supports are essentially like a suspension bridge that's holding the edge of each of these trusses in either direction. And then that truss holds up the rest of the roof, allowing the roof to have no supports inside of the stadium. Without that structure, you cannot have this kind of bowl with this kind of coverage. Without having a Wrigley Field situation where somebody's sitting behind a pole.
The cladding is the most rural part architecture I've ever seen. I agree. The roof structure detracts from the cauldron.
It detracts in terms of how poorly it's executed, but it also makes it possible. It's one of those pros and cons. Amenities, it's a 7. The area around this, it's not just that it's in a park that's well programmed, it's that there are activations that on non-game days remind you that this is the home of an iconic club. They do such a great job. The transportation is as high as you can be without having a subway station underneath the stadium. Yeah, it's a walk. It's an interesting walk. Like you pass by so many places to stop and engage. It has topography, which we'll get into, is actually like a bonus on urbanism. But all these park urbanism ones are going to get a 5 because there isn't a bar that's owned by somebody who isn't a corporate partner of the club.
Yeah. I can vouch for it. The outside of the stadium is fantastic. It really is. I'm so jealous that we don't have anything like that in Chicago.
Imagine if that's what the walk through Grant Park was like from the Red Bull. Like those are the kinds of little things that we'd have to think about our parks in a different way than we do in the US. We'd have to have them be more like German parks where frivolity is not just the scheduled concert. It's because you're meeting up with your buddies and getting a beer at the beer garden and then walking around with that beer.
That's the real dream.
Tied for 14th on architectural score because it just stumbles and misses the mark on things that could be great. Like it is an iconic stadium despite all of its mistakes. And that just speaks to how great the stadium architecture is in the Bundesliga. It's just acres above the Premier League, and you can at me, Premier League fans. So stadium area score is 3rd, and we'll see why it like this was. I think this was 2nd the last time that we did it. But there have been some great additions to stadium area, which we'll get to later. Overall,
programming note, I think we are going to go a little over just because this is I think I can speak for chat. I think we're all learning some crazy shit. Like I didn't know about the yellow thing. Like the yellow, I was wondering that the whole time. So we might go a little over. Just there's a programming note if you're watching.
The side box, Borussia Park, that exterior cladding does not allow the roof structure to sing. The roof structure is almost treated like a background element, which is why even though it's actually an interesting structure, paint those fuckers green, you guys. Like the same way that you can't get your fucking jerseys right, you can't get this right. Like it's just make it green. It's your identity. Do it. Like you're done. Like if they introduced some color to that structure, it immediately would raise it a number of points in both criteria. But I have to hand it to them. That bowl is pretty damn near perfect.
Yeah, I gotta give them that.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend too much on this because it makes me feel icky, like sticking your finger in your nose. Like it's just boogers all the way down. Amenities are pretty great for a stadium that's in a nowheresville, bad urbanism. Like this is the Bundesliga equivalent of urban renewal in the 60s, where it's just like, this looks great in a plan. This doesn't work from an urbanism standpoint, but they've done a great job of activating it, of putting in all these little things that I hate this club, but I kind of wish that Cologne had a little more creativity in the parkland around it. Just a little bit would go a long way, and they do it wonderfully here from an amenities standpoint.
Well, when you desperately need something to do in the city, then
Yeah. Did you say
No
city?
offense.
Did you say city? I don't know that. I don't think that's accurate. Like
Hey,
city.
we're trying to be unbiased here. We're trying our best.
Transportation is a 4. It makes the walk from the other stadiums look short. So yeah, that makes a 17th in architectural score, 10th in stadium area score, and overall 13th with a score of 30. Frankfurt's Deutsche Bank Park is great. I was literally talking with a coworker today about this Oculus and how great it is, and it's the reason the roof structure is a 10. Like
it's so iconic.
It's creative. It's iconic. It's the reason that I will always be a BC Place fan, despite all of its It's like,
Wikipedia is gonna teleport into your. Wikipedia did not like it.
There are problems with that stadium, but that roof at BC Place is not the problem with that stadium. So Seating Bowl gets a 9. Again, just an immaculately engineered bowl, but not much character to it, which we're sort of in all of those. Like all these stadiums are very similar in that side. Exterior cladding is a 5. It's just a bit corporate. It could be amazing. It could complement that roof structure, but it's still just the same general blah that it was before they added the roof, which took this from being a boring stadium to being a great stadium, just like Bayer Arena.
Next one, sorry. I'm just saying on Blue Sky we're going a little over.
That's fine. Amenities 7. This is a park that you can approach from 4 different sides via multiple different means of transportation, and your experience will be different getting to the stadium from every one of them. The park is sprinkled with these places to drink beforehand, to go to a playground with kids before the match. I mean, it's a masterclass in how you create a giant forest in the middle of the city that I don't think is great from an urbanism standpoint to have the stadium at the very center of it, but it works because of the amenities and transportation. It's a bit of a give and take here, where if the urbanism was, if it was right at the edge, I don't think that the surrounding parts of Frankfurt are as amenity laden as the park is, and that makes the neighborhoods better and the park better, in my opinion. So that gets tied for second in architectural score. Just a great job. The those 2 support towers at the corners are so good. Like just a great little architectural decision. It works cohesively. Stadium area score is tied for sixth. Its pros and cons leave it sort of middle of the pack. And overall score is 41, tied for third. I don't know if this is a bucket list despite being third, but it seems like it's a great place to be a fan.
I will say the atmosphere that comes with this. Also, wow, I'm peaking so crazy. The atmosphere that comes with this would make it a bucket list for me.
Okay, got it. So Augsburg, you'll see the creative cropping here in order to talk about the roof structure. This is the most blah roof structure. You're going to get a 3 if you get the job done. If you cover the entire stadium, but you just sort of go like, what do they have at Home Depot for your roof? You're going to get a 3. You also can see in that photo how bad this stadium was before they put the cladding. And that's why this cladding is a 9. It took I know I have a good thing on here. It shows how much a stadium can be improved by cladding it in something that you didn't just find at the scrapyard. Also, why the fuck do they have a statue of a dude missing a ball completely while getting a handball?
I mean, that sums up Augsburg perfectly.
Yeah. So seating bowl is an 8. It just doesn't have that second level that brings it to being a 9. But that single bowl is so much larger than you think it is. Like, it's kind of intimidating. And that's why you can have a single bowl and get an 8, but you can only get an 8.
I would be so drunk at that stadium. I'm assuming you mean the next one or the last one. Also, no one said my audio is super loud.
Oh.
What?
I just thought that was because you are Jake and we must hear you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So amenities, it's a 4. They did a good job to occupy this effing parking lot with things, but it's still a parking lot next to a highway, and you can't really get above a 4 with that. Urbanism is a 2 because it's a parking lot next to a highway with a bunch of industrial users on the other side of the highway. And transportation is a 3 because, yeah, you guys did a great job of getting the tram out there, but I have to walk underneath the highway and across all of the entrance ramps in order to get there. Please, please. So that gets tied for 14th on architecture, tied for 14th on stadium area score, and somehow overall score gets a 15th. So you're even worse by the sum of your parts.
Oh, there's a limiter on here. Okay, perfect. I'm wearing closed headphones for the first time, so I think normally they're like open. So I'm gonna fix this a little bit. If you're watching in the VOD, my bad.
So yeah,
Here we go.
exterior cladding, it's a 10. Like, it is. I've been to this stadium. Again, it wasn't during the season, so I have not seen a game here. But it's even better in person. The actual physical stadium. They did such a great job of the cladding serving multiple purposes, being iconic, being a sound uh, attenuator. Like, you'd think that this, when we get to the amenity section, you'd think that this absolute barren plaza that they put outside of the stadium would be echoey as hell. It's not, and it's because of these little nooks and crannies and the way that the sound can't just bounce right back at you off of this. Similarly, that causes the interior of the stadium to really have a robust sound. The roof structure is made out of the same material, but it then gives way to glass. And this is something we talked about the last time that we did this, but the reason that the glass is in that portion is for the grass, is as opposed to Bay Arena where they just made the entire thing glass. This is laid out so that in the summer you're getting the least amount of heat gain. In the winter you're getting the most that you need for the grass to grow. It's coming from the corner that is going to benefit the grass without getting that late afternoon sun that would hit the other sides of the, so like when the sun's coming at that angle that is like from the north at this time of day in a place like Chicago, this roof setup means that you're not, that light is glancing off. You are not getting heat gain there. They did a great job with this. It's a phenomenal engineering, architectural, environmental system standpoint. And that seating bowl is the definition of corporate perfection. Like, you can't get a 10 because it's so by the book, but man, it's a good book.
No, I think everyone in chat's like, yeah, it's iconic. Like, it really is a fantastic looking stadium.
And my quote about this is, this is like putting a pearl on a velvet pillow in a litter box. Like, you have these winding paths for no reason that have no other like amenities driven into them other than the fact that it's covering up a giant parking lot, like a parking garage. It is, if anybody's been to Soldier Field, they have the Waldron deck. And imagine if the Waldron deck was the treatment of the entire park all the way across.
Oh my God.
Like, it was the thing that I took away when I visited here as an architecture student. Jesus, 20 years ago. It's a great stadium. There were a lot of ideas that looked good on paper that did not work. And it's surrounded by frickin' gas storage tanks and nothingness. And you have to go all the way out to the edge of the region. They do an amazing job of getting you there with the transportation. It's an engineering feat, but my goodness.
It's really, I wish we could, I wish I could show, maybe we'll do another show of how far away this thing is from the city. It's so far away.
It really is. So first on architecture, hands down, like, I don't think it's physically possible for someone to check all the boxes and get a 30, because this is the one that would do it, and I can't get that bowl of 30. Stadium area score is 12th, and that's generous because they did such a great job on transportation. Like, this easily could have been one of the worst areas if not for what they did to cover that parking garage and the transportation.
So weird seeing them back in this.
Yeah. Also, I hope that somebody appreciates the way that I showed both the closed and open environments of the stadium, as close to overlapping them as I could from a.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's sick.
Yeah. It's a great roof structure, but you'll see if you go back through it, there's a lot of 6s in roof structure because they do a great job, but they're so just a solution to an engineering problem and nothing that is designed beyond mathematics. And it's great mathematics, but you can't get above a 6 if you're just doing the math. I call this basically the Westfalenstadion mixed with the Kingdom. Anybody remembers the old Seattle Kingdom? When it's closed, it looks like that. I can't say that it looks like Rogers Center because it doesn't. Rogers Center has a way more interesting solution to the roof for the Blue Jays. But it is an iconic stadium. It has a perfectly engineered seating bowl. And its exterior cladding is pretty great for like late 80s, early 90s off the shelf. Like, they chose good materials. It's looking more and more dated by the year, and I have a feeling that there are going to be some big changes afoot if Schalke ever gets to a level of stability that they have not had for a decade.
Oh yeah, I'm sure them going down for 5 years destroyed any stadium plans they had.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the coal tunnel was at least worth half a point. The coal tunnel, if you haven't seen it, it looks like you're going through a mine, which is sick.
It is. I played with putting it on here, but it's the reason, it's one of the amenities, like
Yeah.
it's something that is great for the players. It's great, but it's not great for the fan experience. Like, does anybody actually experience that coal tunnel?
If you're doing stadium tour.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's
So from an architecture score, it's tied for 8th. Stadium area score, it does have 7 on amenities because there's so much to do around it in this park, very similar to Dortmund. It's just they handle it in a very different way that fits the region. It's kind of the difference between the two sides of this, I don't know if you'd call it valley, but this sort of corridor between Dortmund, like it's this north central east west corridor from Hamburg to the western boundary of Germany. There's a difference between Dortmund and, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so I'm just going to ask you to say it, Jake.
Gelsenkirchen.
Thank you. It's more suburban, while also being more like we took an industrial thing and made it pleasant by landscaping it.
Yeah, it's a lot greener than I would have thought that it looked from the outside. Like there's a lot of greenery. Considering Gelsenkirchen looks like a dungeon city.
Yeah, like this feels like a respite from the city.
Yeah.
Which is why it gets a 4 on urbanism, because there are parking lots in here in a way that isn't good from an urbanism standpoint, but doesn't detract from an amenities standpoint, because your approaches to the stadium are not impacted by that at all. And there is stuff to do around it. There's ways to make a trip of it if you're visiting from out of town. I could imagine staying at this hotel is a like bucket list item for somebody who is a Schalke fan but doesn't live on the continent. Transport what?
Like if you get T Swift funded green spaces. Oh my god.
Not wrong. Transportation also gets a 7 because it has closer proximity. It has more transportation from multiple approaches than Rhine Energy Stadion, which I did not realize until I got into the weeds here. And I was like, wait, how does a stadium that isn't actually in the city as much as Cologne is have more transportation? And it's because it's really regional connections, because this club is bigger than the town city that it occupies. So that leads to being tied for 5th overall. And now to a evil corporate stadium that I begrudgingly have to give plaudits to, because that roof structure is so good, and it like evokes Red Bull in a way that makes me think of like their skydiving and all their other like esports things. It has movement to it. It feels like it could be a skating element that leads into a real like it. I don't know how to emphasize more that they took a bland bowl that was kind of interesting just because of how utilitarian it was, and they pulled a much better version of what Soldier Field did. Like they fit something modern inside of that exterior without taking away from the exterior. And that's where the cladding gets a 5, is that it's just the underside of the bowl, and that's not great. Like there's nothing architectural that you're really highlighting there by having nothing there. So if that cladding had just extended a little bit further, I think it'd be better. And seating bowl is only a 7 because it isn't a full wraparound. It has it has interest to it, but I can't give it a 10 because it's not a fully complete upper bowl. And if somebody made a slightly larger version of this with a more like dedicated fan section, it would fit, it would work better. But the problem is that you'd have to rely on that fan wall being filled with actual culture from fans of a corporate slop team. So
We also have a lot of people saying that they like the dry moat, which I do too. That was really, I've seen this in person. I haven't been doing a game, but the fact that it's like in the ground is really cool.
and that's why it gets a lot of points in the next. Urbanism is a 7. Like
Yeah, it's in the perfect place.
the
Uh,
the way that the moat creates this experience of you approach something that feels like a fortress, then you go through the bridges that bring you to the stadium, and then you enter the stadium. That's just a great progression. Um, Transportation is a 6. There's a lot of it in close proximity, but it doesn't have quite as many regional connections as Schalke did. Amenities is a 5. It's not great, but there are some amenities. Most of the amenities are the fact that you are right next to the. This also comes from a problem of the. While the urbanism is really great, there aren't a ton of opportunities for independent retailers in the immediate area because of the parking lots that sort of cut into that area. If they could replace part of that with a garage that then had other development on the rest of the site, I think that it would gain. It would probably get up to an 8 or 9 in urbanism, and amenities would probably get up into the 6 or 7 range.
Moshe Dazzle says, very jealous that lots of you have seen these places in person. You got to do a Germany trip if you haven't. If you're a Bundesliga fan, you got to. Like it really is something special.
All right, and
Oh,
yeah, we're good. I really like Europa Park Stadion.
the new stadium is very sick. It's where you're probably already going to mention it, but it's very new. I think it's the newest stadium in the Bundesliga.
It was so new when we first did this. I think it was finished right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
It is not the newest stadium in the Bundesliga
Ooh.
because they've completely rebuilt Elversberg in the time since then.
Yeah.
But we'll
But
get to that.
they have to. Yeah, they kind of have to.
We'll get to that. Exterior cladding is a 6. They do a really good job of building in. I would argue that it detracts a bit from the amazing roof structure, which is why the cladding doesn't get as high as some of the other ones that we'll see here. Seating bowl is an 8. It's really well done, but it just kind of is a little stunted, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a E2 bowl setup, but it's great for its size. It's a wonderful little park. If it had more standing section, it would get up into the Union Berlin situation. And then where it knocks it out of the park is on amenities. Like, if this was not on a former airport site, and as they build more and more in the area, its urbanism is going to, like, this is, I think, a little bit higher than what we had last time because they keep on building new. When it fully gets out to it, it's going to be a great stadium. But it's a long walk for the transportation, but they handled it really well. They have this thing it's called an LA that is sort of a march walk to the stadium, and it brings you past all of these things that you want to do. It's also how you bike to the game. You bike all the way up to right next to the stadium, go into this wonderful field of, I have not done it, but I've seen the videos of people hanging out around their bikes with beers that they have before a game, and I want to go to there.
Yeah, This is a rumor, but I've heard Christian Strike fought for that because he bikes to games. So
Nice.
you need more bike managers.
Yeah. Uh, architecture score is 23, tied for fourth. Great little park. Hard to find faults with it from an architecture standpoint. Stadium area score is 16, which is middle of the road. It'll overtake Cologne and Union Berlin as they develop because this is clearly a development play. That's what the city decided to do from a planning standpoint. And overall score, it's tied for fifth, but I could see it getting even higher in the coming years.
It's also next to an airport. I never knew that. Um,
An airport that, from my understanding, and if somebody's more familiar with the area, they can correct me if I'm wrong, is being slowly decommissioned. That's why all this land was available.
so that'll be even more amenity stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. They built a new stadium, but with so few seats.
Yeah.
What was it? 32,000, 40? Yeah, that's pretty small.
Yes. Pretty small, but also not a huge metro area, and not
True.
a club that has the breadth. I think this is kind of like the Fires only building a 22,000 seat stadium. They went, we don't want to have empty seats, and
Also,
I think they could.
also Vash? What's that? Next one.
Giroux. So my my favorite overall stadium. This is number one. I mentioned it earlier. The exterior cladding is an 8. It would be a 10 if the different components related to each other more, but it's kind of not quaint, uh, well well done in the way that they transition. So I'm not giving it a buy arena where the exterior cladding is lower because it's just like this and then this and then this and then this. The roof structure is so great. I couldn't in a photo, but the structure is exposed inside of this glass curtain that wraps around the outside in a way that creates this wonderful interstitial space between the glass and the seating bowl. That has to be a wonderful place to at halftime talk about everything that was going wrong on the pitch during the game. I also love the way that they built these sort of toothbrush light structures.
Yeah, those are sick.
They're so good. Just everything about this is well done, but not cohesive enough to be at Allianz.
Yeah, the chat's not really. We got this is the MI5 building, finance offices at Canary Wharf, which Hamburg, yeah. Huge stanchions. Looks like Whitechapel. Oh, this is probably an English stadium.
On the next, the urbanism of it being tied up right against town, next to the river, it really works in that way. It has restaurants that are not owned by the club that are spitting distance from it. It has transportation that is, you walk by bars and restaurants to get from the transportation to the stadium. That's one of the best examples of how to make a kind of long walk not feel like a long walk, because you're walking through a festival atmosphere the entire way, and it's not something that's driven by the club. It's driven by the people who are selling fish at the restaurant for you to walk along the rest of your way to the stadium. So
Yeah, the walk by there's a picture of what it looks like when you're walking by that like river, and it's incredible. Like right here, the river park, amazing.
yeah, it's a great little, again, one that I don't know if I'd put it on a bucket list. I just think it's really well done. But if you're a fan of Bremen, I've got to imagine that this is a fantastic experience.
And now we go to the
Yes.
not fantastic experience.
A not fantastic experience. It gets it done and it does it well, but man, this is like discount Frankfurt.
I was about to say, it literally has like the same roof pattern.
It does. It's using the same structural system, but it's not. It doesn't have the additional cable stays that allow it to go further to the center. It doesn't have the oculus that closes itself. It's one bowl, but it's well done. Like this stadium is not bad. It ranks pretty high given that it has the 8 from the Stadium Bowl. It has a good roof. It has good exterior cladding. But man, it's just not okay stadium in a god awful location. Go to the next slide.
Yeah, we have VfB second home stadium. Yeah, this is basically a second home stadium for a lot of places.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's a 1 on urbanism. And the only reason that it's a 1 is because they're building things next to it. Like this weird thing that looks like it's out of the Wisconsin Dells that they plopped next to this stadium. It's weird. The transportation exists, but the walk is through parking lots, and it makes every other walk to a stadium look good, even the ones that are through industrial parks, because at least there's fucking character. There's a reason that it's second last on stadium area score, and it has to thank its lucky stars that Paderborn exists.
Yeah, that is dire. What extremely UAE coded?
Yes.
This is awful. What is going on here? Oh boy.
Yeah. Don't love it.
Even driving past it is depressing. Here we go now. Andy boy is going to be watching very closely on this one.
This roof structure is fun. The only reason that it doesn't get a 10 is because it doesn't take that extra leap that Allianz did of having the environmental conditions influence how you're actually cladding the roof. It is a great single seating bowl. Not single seating bowl, double seating bowl, where it's fully tied up under that roof in a way that Red Bull doesn't have. And because of that, this gets a 9 as a seating bowl because it is imperfect. It has more character, but yeah, I almost gave it a 10. I might need to revise it, but I still think 9 is appropriate. It's just not as good from a fan experience. Exterior cladding is a 5. They just kind of did it sometimes. It's not really cohesive. It's a bit scatterbrained. Like, pick a decision. It's kind of if anybody's familiar with deconstructivist architecture, it's this idea that nothing goes together, and that's the design intent. And this feels like a poor man's version of that. And it's not a poor man. This is a quite wealthy man executing this.
The Beep Club.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it's no longer Mercedes-Benz Arena. Like,
yeah,
that was so weird to me. MHP Arena just made me giggle. But I don't hold that against the stadium. It's a great park. And then on to its downside.
Wait. Also, they redid the bowl recently, actually.
Oh, they did?
When we were there in 2022, it was like part of it was closed because they were updating it. So I don't know if this is the updated one or not.
It's not the updated one. No.
Great place to catch an 8th Division police club. Exactly.
Uh, urbanism is a 4. Like, guys, it's like I get that your entire identity is that you make cars, but like, why is it next to the factory? It's a factory store that plays football games. But man, they hit it out of the park with amenities.
Oh yes, the amenities are insane. It's next to the Mercedes-Benz Museum.
Yeah, the museum, the fact that there are again things to do. Like, this is where it gets to a 9, is that it does everything that the other ones do, but then it has attractions that would bring you in on a non-game day, and that's impressive. Uh, transportation, a 7. The only thing that would make it better would be if it was in the effing stadium, and if there was more of it.
And the walk to the stadium is amazing. Like this is my second favorite just arena like ever. I love this arena so much.
Got it. I might have to give a 10 then for that bowl. I'll have to look at the.
Yeah, the new bowl. Yeah,
Was it subtle, the changes that they made?
not when we were there. They like had closed off a quarter of the stadium. Yeah.
I saw photos that seemed to be very recent, and I could not see a difference, so I didn't update
Mm.
my photo. So it gets second overall, second in stadium area score, fourth on architecture. It's just a great all around sporting park.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, skipping around. Uh, so I know that I had talked about the discount Frankfurt for the Hoffenheim. Hamburg, this is BC place with less character. I'm sorry. It gets a 9 because it does it all really well, but it's toothpicks. Like, the exterior cladding ruins it. Ruins it. Just
Hold on, I'm checking if Falcon Americana has heard that you gave it a Stuttgart Stadium. Okay, they haven't yet. Oh boy.
well, the
Wait
roof
until they
stru-
do.
the roof structure and seating bowl are exquisite.
Yeah.
It's a great job. But guys, you can fix the 3 that I gave it. Like, it's just, you're not in as bad a spot as Gladbach, right? Like, it is, it's something that I think can be resolved, and it speaks to the next section on that the amenities are kind of, it's co-located with stuff. That's really the amenities. Like, there's also an arena and there's also a swimming area, and that means that you can go there on non-game days. But from an urbanism standpoint, you have to walk through industrial parks to get to the stadium. You know,
Ouch.
like, you get to the park eventually, but both of the 2 closest rail stations are not well integrated, and nothing that I saw, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, and it's just so game day specific that you can't really suss it out from uh, Google Earth, because I haven't been here. You know, this is true of a lot of these stadiums. I'm going based off of uh, as much as I can read about it, as much as I can look at it. Um, it would be higher with just a little better treatment of those grounds around it and the approach to the stadium. Um, they should be happy that we didn't do this last year, because they would not have liked the difference in where this stadium ranks high versus where Pauli's stadium ranks high. They're in the same way that these 2 clubs are so different from one another. Their stadiums are also complete opposites, where one is amazing location, design decisions, and the other one is like amazing design decisions. That's how you get there.
But I think the difference of getting there is very club coded.
Yes, very much. So now we're on to Elversberg, which I have to judge based on its current conditions. So
Yeah,
seating will,
where's the rest of the stadium?
it's being constructed, and it will be done in the middle of the season. They haven't said exactly the date, which makes me think that it will be later in the season. And when it's complete, it will add 5,000 additional seats.
I thought the minimum was 20,000. Oh no, because Heidenheim was under that.
15.
Okay.
Yeah. So they will have 15,000, which means that it will be the only stadium in Germany that has a higher has a higher stadium capacity than population of its town.
That's insane. That is really insane.
The roof structure does not fully cover the stands. It is not fully enclosed. It has giant open corners. I know that I'd be wet in a windy drizzle. So it only gets a 2. It's not really beautiful. Exterior cladding only gets a 2, not because this is the worst thing, but if you look at the stadium, there's not like most of their exterior cladding is actually their roof because of the elevation change. Like it's so built into the hillside that when you're approaching from behind where this photo of the seating bowl is, you're above the roof. And that is the transition to the next slide.
We have literally Ursa Farm is Bear Drugs, so I'm going to be calling it Bear Drugs Arena all
Bear-
season.
Oh, we should get that like sleepy time tea thing.
Bear Drugs. And Ryan gave you Ryan Lamey gave you a bonk for saying you'd be wet. And then okay, next slide. Next slide.
Oh, that's not what I would phrase it.
No,
I
it
see.
is.
Yeah. So urbanism, I
Oh,
give it a 6 despite all of this because that's fucking awesome, right? Like, don't tell me that
no.
this isn't.
What is it? What am I looking at?
This is how you come into the stadium. You're at street level here. The stadium is down in this sort of
Okay. The direction people were going confused me, but now I get it.
yeah. It's they did a really great job of bring the different levels in so that you progress into it in a really good way. Uh, it has an urbanism ranking of 6 despite having a freaking gas station across the street and a
Got it.
supermarket next door.
Oh,
But
yeah, I see it right here.
yeah, but I'm giving it a lot of benefit of the doubt because you can't fill a stadium of 15,000 people if you don't have a bus network and you don't have a gas station across. They have 3 buses that stop at this one bus stop, but you couldn't tell me that this bus stop was for a stadium.
Yeah, it looks like a middle of the street bus stop.
Yeah, and without any of the uh, grandiosity or progression to the stadium of having a town. So like I get that you need a grocery store, maybe build a new grocery store slightly down the road and build a stadium town thing where the grocery store is and include a sort of not bus rapid transit, but more of a place where if you're waiting for the bus, more than 5 people can wait for the bus for a stadium. And then amenities is 2 because there really aren't amenities. There's just like stuff that's inside of the park. So sadly, that leads to an overall score of dead last in both architecture and overall, and tied for 14th in stadium area score. But one that could easily climb with just some really good planning and urban design that is unlikely to happen for a town of 13,000.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
these are the final architectural rankings. We've gone through it. This is just kind of a recap. You have a kind of like the Bundesliga season, You have Bayern way ahead on Archijake. And then you have somebody who's close behind, usually about two teams that are competing to catch them. And then a whole bunch of mid-table teams that are like, oh, at least we're not getting relegated. And then at the bottom here, man, if there was relegation for stadium architecture, Gladbach, Paderborn, and Elversberg would be just arguing over who's in the playoff. Yeah. So also, it really shows like Signal Iduna Park is not a bad park. Like
No.
1 through 15 on this list are really good stadiums that with a few tweaks, you could be from 14th up to 4. Like that's how tight this whole area is. I think it goes from a ranking of, here, I'm actually going to pull it up on my other screen. It goes from a ranking of 29 is Allianz, and then Signal Iduna is, why am I, oh, because I call it Westfalen Stadion in this one, is a 19. That's 10 points between first and 15th. That's crazy. There then is another 10 points between Signal Iduna Park and Ursa Farm or Bear Drugs Arena. Like that, it is a swift drop after that.
We need bell curves with this.
Yeah, if we're grading for the curve, you know, like, and that's a great thing to say on here. When we're looking at the overall scores, it's different than rankings. Like,
yeah,
you have it, and again, this is like the Bundesliga, where you have a highly competitive most of the league, and then one guy that ran out ahead by 5 points, and everybody else, like Deutsche Bank Park to Signal Iduna Park, is a 5-point difference. That's it.
So that's like one good park away.
Yeah. So in final stadium area rankings, a similar thing happens where the stadium area around Werder Bremen is unchallenged. Well, not unchallenged, only challenged by around Signal Iduna Park and MHP Arena. A next tier between 4 and 9 is pretty congested. Like you could move around pretty easily by making a few moves, but Allianz Arena drops down, while Bayer Arena, being next to a freaking highway, goes down. And just like the bottom tier here, this is like when you have that year that we had this past year where everybody was in danger of relegation from like the 10th spot down. That's what the stadium area rankings are, which I was not expecting for Germany, because Germany has such great, like, dynamic cities and urbanism. And maybe that's because none of them have a big ass stadium that is fucking with the demand right in the center of the biggest cities. That might be why. But it's interesting. And then overall rankings, it really is very congested at the top there for different reasons. Each one of these stadiums are great for different reasons. And yeah, I mean, I'd even want to go to Elversberg, because that looks like once they're done with the stadium, it could be a really interesting atmosphere. I don't know whether I'd have to do like,
I don't know how you'd get there.
well, I'd have to do like one of those, you agree to go and farm someone's land in exchange for keeping your couch.
It's a pharmacy city. It's like Little Leverkusen.
So I guess I'd be packing pills in jars or something.
Peters. I need everyone who's watching to give a standing ovation to Jake Peters. That was incredible again.
Thanks.
That is just so fantastic. I've learned so much shit. And oh man, bro, I just don't even know what to say. That was amazing.
I
So
appreciate it. I enjoy doing it. Yeah, there's a reason I do my job for a living and why I love it. So
yeah, I was sort of prepared for it as being trapped in that and many unskippable cutscenes about transit, but yeah, this was fantastic. I'm gonna if you need to do it, we've got some stuff in the comments saying to do an MLS one. I think that'd be a little less exciting, but you never know.
I think it
Where
would be exciting for a different podcast.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's not happening here. Where can people find you if you want people to find you?
Blue Sky. That's Blue Sky at Archijake. Um, I I think that sometimes I'm on Instagram, but I'm not a photo taker. I'm not a vertical video guy.
So
So
you're already off of Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm on Instagram because when Twitter collapsed into a hellscape, I was trying to figure out which life raft I could continue to involve myself with. And I guess Instagram's more for like close friends.
Oh yeah, I'm on there to let people know I'm alive.
Yeah, it's to like all of my dad's amazing, like my dad's a great follow on Instagram. I'm not.
We're gonna have to disable wear a random scarf while it's summer, but we'll stack them all for fall.
Oh, you know what? I can do random scarf.
What are you about to conjure?
1 second.
This is scary. While he's doing that though, next we're doing a show next week. I think we're gonna do a club profile on Elversberg. What is this? Oh, where the fuck did you even find that? Where did you find that?
A bike lane scarf. I found it from the Overhead Wire, which is a great follow on general like transportation, uh, city function, um, transportation. It's a thing that I would like and not many other people would like. But if you're into that, um, yeah, that's. I just saw that scarf and I was like, oh, I have something I can wear to a Bremen game.
If you had bought that, if you had seen that and not bought it, I would have been so fucking mad at you. I would have been irate. Oh shit. We need a link in chat. What was it again?
Oh,
The
yeah,
overhead
Overhead
wire.
Wire. It was a few years ago that I got it. I don't know if they still sell it.
I'll put it in the Discord, Carly. Um, but yeah, well, it's time to end. I know we've gone way over, but it was
Yeah.
amazing. We'll see you next week. At what?
One quick thing.
Yeah.
It is literally the overheadwire.com, and apparently they have bus scarves, so you can get a bus only lane scarf if you're more of a bus person. So
Oh, yeah, I see
that one's red, so we can get that for FC.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Jake Peters. And no puns. Do you want to leave on a pun?
No, I let them come out organically.